Congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you, Portia. Thank you.
And on your 75th birthday.
Thank you.
Let's talk about retirement, because by canon law, you have to retire at 75.
Right. Just for a little specificity, it's 4011. So it demands that when the ordinary of a place, and I would be the ordinary of the Archdiocese of Milwaukee, reaches the age of 75, he dutifully must submit his resignation to the Pope. So it's by canon law that I must do that. It's almost a pro forma thing, so it's not sort of like I'm the Pope and I'm demanding your resignation and I want. No, it's not that at all. It's that every bishop, must do that, and it's bishops who have governance. So I govern a territory of the 10 counties of the Archdiocese of Milwaukee. So I'm called upon to submit my resignation. And there's a wisdom to it. I'd be the first to stand in line and say, no, it's very smart to do this, because we all know as we get a little older that the desire might be there, but the physical ability to keep up with the demands, certainly grow more difficult every year. And so 75 is a good time. And it's not like at 75 I have to move out, I pack everything and I leave. It's submitting your resignation and then you wait for the Pope to announce your successor.
It could take a couple years.
It could, in some instances it has in the continental United States. So it could take a couple years. The process will usually go 3, 6, 9 months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years. But it's very important, I think, for everybody to know that they really attempt to do a thorough job of vetting the successor to whoever is retiring.
Well, let's talk about the Milwaukee Archdiocese. What makes it, as you said, attractive to perhaps your successor?
We've gone through basically bankruptcy. So for 5.5 years we were in bankruptcy. And once we were able to come out of bankruptcy, we maintained, if you want, a little bit more of an economic stability that we were able to achieve. We have, our seminary is totally filled. And it has become a provincial seminary, which means that all of the Diocese of Wisconsin send their men to Francis de Sales Seminary. So the seminary is really, there's a pride in that. Our diaconate, a couple of years ago I ordained 16 to the permanent diaconate, which was the largest number in almost 40 years. In the Archdiocese of Milwaukee. This is all bodes well. On top of that, we have a program for our lay ministry, strengthening lay ministry, and the lay ministry component is important for the functions of the parishes. So you need professionally and very competent lay ministers to be able to make sure that our parishes run in coordination and collaboration with their pastors well. So that's one aspect. Catholic Charities, well respected. Catholic Charities seeks to do almost a coordination to make sure that the resources are targeted for those most in need. So we're not multiplying services, but we're taking a look at how we can support others who are already doing the services and seek to do those things that are not being accomplished by others. So that wonderful aspect, Catholic Charities. Our schools, I think our schools might be the envy of the Catholic schools in the nation, because we have very strong collaboration among our schools.
You said you came in 2010. It's been 14 years now. When you look back at your tenure, what are some of the successes? What are the accomplishments that you're most proud of?
Well, many people will say, you led us through bankruptcy. And I thank them very much. I was glad we were able to go through bankruptcy to try to meet those who, because of our bankruptcy, those who were injured, especially through that clergy sexual abuse aspect. A new day for the church in terms of it. I would tell you, your child is safer in Catholic schools or any kind of activity that basically the parish is doing than maybe any place else in the society. And I haven't forgotten the rest of the society, but I think that many of our public institutions, as well as some of our other private institutions, could really take an example from what the Catholic Church has gone through and has done, and has produced basically really safe environments for our young people. And it's my prayer that we would continue to assist the public institutions to be able to do that same type of accountability. So that aspect I'm proud of. Many people will kind of attribute that to me, but I'm most proud of the Synod, because in the midst of the bankruptcy, we called together the entire church, the Catholic Church, and with representatives, we declared what our priorities would be for the next 10 to 15 years. And that was at 2014. And so what made that so special is, as I said, there was a confidence and a trust that whether we would have 10 cents or $10 billion, we were going to do the mission of the church, and mission that Christ had established for his church, and we were going to accomplish it using these as our priorities going forward. So in fact, I always wear one pin. People will see me wearing one pin, although I've been a member of all sorts of different organizations, 23 years with the military, and Equestrian Order, Knights of Columbus, Equestrian Order of the Holy Sepulchre. I have all these pins from all these, but this is the one I wear, because I'm very, very proud of the accomplishment of the faithful and the people of this archdiocese. It's clergy, it's faithful in establishing a commitment and a trust to take the mission of Christ and to carry it forward.
Well, let's talk about the challenges, because you did lead the archdiocese and the faithful of the Catholic faith through that difficult time. A lot of people are still very deeply hurt by what happened. What is your message to the people who may still feel that way, or who lost trust in the church? What do you say to them? In every institution, there are those that, quotes, are bad actors, But I don't think you can judge the institution by the bad actions of a few. You have to take a look at what basically that institution has accomplished over centuries. And then the other aspect I would kind of say is, this is the church established by Jesus, and it will call those faithful to be able to be responsive to his message, and that message will be held out. I regret what happened. I, as a priest, was appalled by the actions of those few. So for me, it was not only criminal, it was sinful, and knowing that basically that we all have to stand before God, it was appalling. But having said that, it would be wrong if we did not do the correctives, to make sure and to take a look at how our young people would be protected and served in the future. And we did that. I'm confident that we will continue to do that. And I'm confident I, as well as my successor, will be vigilant in making sure that's always a priority in the Archdiocese. How do we get people back to church?
When you talk in terms of about getting people back into church, I'm not worried about people necessarily getting back into the church. I think the Spirit will take care of that. My sense is being able to practice the faith as it's basically been given to us without sometimes the constrictions that are placed by the government upon religion. And I'll fight for the very first freedom that we established as the United States, and that first freedom was not freedom of speech. That first freedom was freedom of religion.
And that's any religion.
And that's any religion. It's basically the ability to practice your religion without necessarily the constraints that come from a government who says, this is the way you should think, this is the way you should be.
So you're saying that the secular religion
religion is established as the religion now. And I would argue that basically it violates the Establishment Clause of the United States Constitution.
What is your message to the Milwaukee Archdiocese
the Catholic faithful here as you retire? What's your message to them?
Mine is a very simple one, and it's been very simple since the very beginning when I got here. I used it to end all of my email messages to, I don't know, there's some 14, 15,000 people I think that get that message. It's a very simple one. And the simple one to all of the faithful of the Archdiocese is love one another.